Welcome to the Abundant Accountant Podcast. This is where accounting professionals just like you come to learn the most efficient and powerful ways to grow their firm, sharpen their sales skills, and have consistent increasing revenue. We cover topics from sales, networking, handling objections, negotiation, pricing, finding those ideal clients, and how to get rid of the ones that just don't suit you and how to set those boundaries so you can stop giving away your time, working for free, putting yourself on sale, and really start to get paid for the value and the worth that you bring to your clients. You'll learn tips, strategies, as well as hear others from personal interviews from successful accounting professionals. This podcast will show you exactly how to create the firm and life of your dreams full of abundance. Welcome to the Abundant Accountant Podcast. Today we have a very special guest. Our special guest is the founder of Peak CFO, specializing in fractional CFO services for med spa owners, with a mission to simplify finances and drive profitability. And she is very approachable. She has an expertise that is through the roof, and she is a CPA as well. So I am super excited about our superstar today, and let me tell you why. She's a client of mine, so this is a case study podcast. And I helped her grow her firm from just doing $400 of recurring revenue per month to $25,000 of reoccurring revenue per month. So her stress has plummeted. She quit her job. And today we're going to talk about how she did it. But before we welcome our special guest to the show, if you have a bunch of work piling up and you've got a lot of low value clients and you wish it could all disappear, then this episode is for you, and make sure to listen really closely. Because busy season is around the corner and you don't want to worry about your health anymore. You don't want to worry about the stress, and you don't want to worry about the anxiety either. So if you want to talk about the real problem and get to the truth of what's going on, just like Jackie has in her firm, then I have a system for you, and working with only our ideal clients, maximizing your revenue and gaining back your freedom. And my system will allow you to gain back your freedom, grow your firm, and enjoy work and your family again. And if you're in a job, show you how to quit your job and grow your firm on the side. So if you want to explore what that looks like, head on over to theabundantcall.com and schedule your call right now to turn things around immediately. Once again, theabundantcall.com. And this is a complimentary, no obligation strategy call with me and my team. And I also want to share that on this call, we're going to talk about what you're doing in your firm right now and what revenue blockers that you have and how to lay out the exact game plan to change all of it right away. So if you want to work with us, we can explore that too. But if anything, you're going to have a mirror held up and you're going to be knowing exactly what changes you need to make in your firm today. So once again, head on over to theabundantcall.com. Grab the first spot you see, lock it in. And again, it's a no obligation strategy call. The only obligation that we have is that you show up. And now let's welcome our special guest to the show, Jackie. Welcome, Jackie, to the show.
Hi, Michelle. It's so good to see you.
It's great to see you too. And I am super excited for you to share your story and your experiences and everything that you've created in your firm. And I've already done your intro about how you took your firm from, $400 a month of recurring revenue to now $25,000, and how we work together. And I've done your bio, but I always think it's best if you do it from your point of view on who you are and what you do, just so everyone can hear that. And I already shared that this is more of a case study podcast. So Jackie and I have worked together, and she's been a client and she's been in our mastermind, and I'm just super proud of everything that you've accomplished. So why don't you take it away and make your introduction?
All right. Yes. So my name is Jaci North. I am a CPA and a mom of 3. And I work with med spa specifically, but I jumped out of public accounting and left my focus on tax to really dive into the financials with all of my clients. And it brings me so much joy to be able to help with their number clarity, making really focused, data-driven decisions for their businesses. And we've seen such awesome results in their businesses this year. And I'm just so blessed I get to do that every single day.
I know. And I am so happy for you that you get to do this every day. But I understand that that's not how it was for you in the past. And I think I'd love to dive in to that when maybe you were, petrified, you were struggling, you were working long hours in a job when we first met. And you just didn't know, exactly, I think, when you were going to quit. But maybe you can speak a little bit on what were things like when you just started versus now, because there is a lot of skepticism out there, Jackie, and I think a lot of people listening might be like, that sounds too good to be true. But I feel like skepticism is more of a hiding place. And hopefully by the end of this chat today with Jackie, for everyone listening, you'll quickly realize how you can grow your firm as well and have the key principles on how to do that, hearing it via Jackie. So why don't you share with us what it was like before?
Yeah, it is so important for me to really think about that lately, just because I do feel so blessed, and seeing where I've come from has been really cool to watch. But yeah, I started doing some work on the side while I was working super long public accounting hours. I knew that just wasn't for me in the long run. And so I watched all these other firms go ahead and make the leap and start their own businesses and help their own clients. And I thought, I'll just go ahead and give it a try and see if I like it. So I started working with a client. I
A
started working
client,
with
yeah.
one client, and I absolutely loved it. I knew that was exactly what I wanted to do and where I wanted to go in my own career. But I felt that same skepticism that you were talking about, Michelle. I saw
Yeah.
everyone else and I kept thinking, how in the world will I get there? I can do the math, right? I know the numbers, and I just knew I couldn't keep working a full-time job and taking on the clients at the revenue amounts I was at. It boggled my mind. I was like, I'm never going to be able to quit my job
Yeah.
at this rate. And so I just started looking for help because I knew it was possible. I just didn't know how I was going to get there. So, and then I was just kind of still wondering, like, do I have what it takes and can I do this? So
Yeah.
then I jumped all in with Michelle,
Yeah.
thankfully.
And I'm so grateful that I was the person that you chose. And we'll get into that in a little bit. But, you were a great student, and I'm sure you are a great student still today, learning other things that you need to do to support these med spa businesses. And I'm sure you did your research thoroughly because as CPAs, I think aren't you trained to be a skeptic to begin with, right? But
Yes,
you
we
had to put
definitely want to analyze.
you want to analyze, do your
Yeah.
research. So putting that skepticism aside and realizing that you wanted to go all in on your firm and that you knew you couldn't keep going this way, like what was the tipping point for you to take that next step and going all in? Like you're imagine talking to yourself, you know, however
Yeah.
many months ago it's been when you had the one client, you were working a
Yeah.
lot. I even remember in the email you just recently sent me that you did not have to ask for PTO to go on a field
Yeah.
trip with one of your kids, right? And that
Yep.
freedom is what you craved when you and I first met. But yet
Yeah.
you're just like, how is this going to work for me? Can I do this? And you're just like, I don't understand how I'm going to be able to do what all these other people have already done. And what was that tipping point for you on saying, okay, no, I'm going to take this next step? Like, maybe you can share what your
Yeah. Yeah.
story was?
Yeah. Great question. I specifically had a family health emergency,
Mm,
and it really hit me really hard that life is too short and that it wasn't worth sitting at my desk for 12 plus hours a day when I could be doing so much more, still making an income and being there for my kids and my family more. It just, at that point, it was an absolute decision that I needed to make. And uh, it just wasn't worth waiting any longer. So that's when I just said, okay, it's time to really take this thing seriously and get the results that I'm looking for because it's not just me, it's my family, and I can't get that time back. So,
Yeah. And so, how much more fun is life now doing the revenue you're doing, which you can share with everybody, versus the one client you had before working 12, 14-hour days?
yeah, it is night and day different. I mean, from an emotional standpoint,
Yeah.
not just the freedom. I wake up every day just feeling so blessed that this is my quote unquote job because it doesn't feel like a job. And I have that freedom and power to kind of create my days and work my schedule however I need to. We are taking the entire week off next week, and I'm not worried about it. We have everything set, and
Love it.
it's just so nice to be able to make those freedom calls because yes, it's a totally different ball game to be able to take control of your life
Mhm.
and what that looks like on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah. And I love how you said take control of your life because you get to plan it and draw it out. It's almost like you have this blank white canvas and you can put whatever you want on it every single day. And you're dictating, I think, your pay now, right? No one else is dictating how much you make.
Just me.
Yeah. So I know you checked out other programs and other coaches and things out there because you do your research, right? You're a skeptic.
Hmm. Yep.
So why did you choose to work with me and my team here at the Abundant Accountant versus others? What was it for you that really made that decision? Because I think there's a lot of firm owners right now, especially if you're on Facebook.
Yeah.
There's like 10, 20. If you find one of my ads, then you're going to get a bunch of other ads after that. And then people are like, well, what's the difference? And so, what did you find in your research, if you can remember that and be as detailed as you can, that you said, you know what, this is going to work for me versus others? I'd love if you could share that.
Like I said, it was a very tough emotional time in my personal life, and I started looking around and seeing who could help me reach my goals. And I'm not sure if we've ever really discussed this in detail, but I did apply to speak with other programs and other coaches, and I was turned down or made to feel as if I wasn't at the spot yet to sort of deserve their help. And that was really frustrating for me because I was working a full-time job and kickstarting my own business. And of course, I'm not where I want to be, and that's why I'm asking for help. So, Michelle, you guys really took me in and made me feel like I was worth helping and worth showing and worth working with because you saw that potential in me and you
Yeah.
understood what my problems were, and it really felt good to feel understood.
Yeah. No, I figured that you had talked to a lot of people and did a lot of research because I do semi recall that, but I didn't know how deep into it. So what would you share, Jackie, with another firm owner that might think, well, what I don't the abundant accountant, they focus on sales and enrollment and, pricing and making money and all that. But I don't have any leads. And you were in that position. You had one client. So I'd love it if you could share, as the CEO of your side hustle firm at the time, making decisions and saying, oh, well, this is actually what I need versus, oh, I just need lead gen from the beginning. Because that's what most people think they need. I just need leads. I just need more customers. But you actually saw it in a very different way. You saw it how I saw it. Can you share a little bit about why the sales and the enrollment piece and figuring out your pricing and getting your ideal client solidified and knowing your niche and understanding and learning how to handle objections and all the things that you've learned on the under the umbrella of sales, not marketing,
Mhm.
was the priority for you and how that really propelled you?
Yeah, this is such a great question, and I am very passionate about it now as well. I
Okay.
think I maybe had a couple leads that had fallen through at that time, and with just understanding my numbers and knowing the pricing that I was going to give them, I think I had to take a really hard look at myself and say, you know, even if I did enroll those two more, like that wouldn't be any life-changing situation for me. And I was looking to change my
Right.
life. I was looking to make major changes and strides,
Yeah.
and I wasn't willing to wait it out or keep trying. And so knowing how to handle those conversations and knowing how to create immediate results with those people who I was still talking with and wondering if we were a good fit to work with each other was instrumental to creating something that really worked for me and worked for my clients and helped us both get results and value and drive the firm quickly and see quick financial results. That's what I was looking for. And that doesn't come with a lead list. It comes
Does
with
not.
knowing your value and knowing what you have to offer and working from the inside out. And yeah, that's really, really the key to a lot of what's going on in accounting right
I
now.
love how you said that it's not a lead list. Thank you.
Yeah,
Because,
I'm with you on that, Michelle.
oh my gosh, Jackie, I can't tell you. I mean, from every person we talk to, I would say 75% will say, I need leads. I need more clients. And it's not
Mhm,
about that. So with your CPA hat on, being an
mhm.
accountant and having a firm and working in corporate, what would you say is the difference between learning the enrollment, the sales, having a sales process that you follow with every single person, having a qualification process, knowing your pricing, knowing your value, knowing how to handle objections versus leads? How would you describe the difference between learning sales and enrollment versus going to get, I need leads, I need to do marketing, I need to do ads, I need a social media posting, all that stuff from the hat of a CPA.
I think I might have talked about this before with you, but from a CPA hat, I feel like we look at balance sheets and profit and loss a lot, obviously.
Yes.
And the balance sheet, if the balance sheet is correct, you can be pretty confident in your profit and loss. So I like to think of the enrollment and the sales and the revenue side as my balance sheet. It shows the financial health of my business. It shows
Mm,
me the direction in which I'm going and whether that all stacks up. And then, the profit and loss comes from there, and it has to start with the right foundation.
love it. So your sales and enrollment skills is your balance sheet of
Hmm.
the comparison. Actually, I don't think you've ever shared that with me. So this is
Oh,
a first.
well,
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah. So
I think I'm thinking about my clients though, like how I would now compare it to theirs. So then I had to put my CPA hat back on and see from the number
from
side.
the numbers side. Yeah, from the accountant, bookkeeping, and all that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really so. Obviously, you're very smart, you're very intelligent, you're very driven, and you didn't want to figure this out on your own, right?
Mhm,
And you had a life-changing event in your life. Why
mhm.
was it such an important decision for you to get a coach, to enroll in hiring help to help you as a firm owner, having your CEO hat on and thinking differently about the business versus figuring it out on your own?
Yeah, I think that at that point, I hadn't been at it very long, but I
Mhm.
already knew that there was so much I didn't know. And that was the most important to me is say, hey, I don't know these things, and I'm not probably going to figure them out on my own. I don't have time. I don't have enough emotional capacity to take on feeling like a failure more and more. I just wanted to feel, hope and
Mhm.
have a plan, and I didn't have that on my own, and that's where that landed me some help. I
Awesome.
know that I didn't know what to do. So,
Yeah. And I love how you said you didn't want to like rely on hope anymore. And I think when we had met, how many clients did you not enroll and sign an engagement with you? Like how many people did you not sell and get as a
Exactly.
client when we met? Because you only had one client at the time.
I
So
did
how
only
many
have
missed?
one. I had at least 4 or 5 missed at the time.
Okay.
So it was enough for me to realize
What you were doing wasn't working.
it wasn't working. No, it
Yeah.
wasn't working.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I want to transition into maybe a little bit more about the coaching and our program and working with us. What was it about me, the abundant accountant, and the program that said, here's why I'm going to join you guys? I understand you went and talked to other people and they didn't accept you in, right? Is what you shared, or they didn't think you were at the right spot. But setting that aside, what was it about the program or our call or your research or, watching other testimonials or maybe even listening to the Abundant Accountant podcast? I'd love it if you could share with some other firm owners from the CPA and accountant, Jackie. What was it about everything that you've researched that made you say, hey, you know what? I want to work with the Abundant Accountant. I know that this is the right place for me.
Yeah, good question. Even though I do have my CPA hat on often, I think for me, it was really important as a business owner to also go with my gut feeling. And I like to lean on intuition. So it really all came down to speaking with you on a call and really diving into what my specific issues and problems were and where I was getting frustrated and how I was feeling at the time. That was more important to have someone to listen and feel heard. And I felt extremely heard.
Mhm.
And I felt very confident in the plan that you had laid out for me. And it seemed to me like a no-brainer by the time we were done talking. So,
Awesome. Yeah, and I love that because that's our goal on these calls. So I'll get to that at the end, but we want you to feel heard. We want you to feel understood and just have a real like honest conversation, right? About,
mhm.
hey, well, what you're doing isn't working, but it wasn't like said that way at the
Yeah.
time. But
But it
having
wasn't.
you realize what'd you
I
say?
said, but it wasn't working. So yeah.
It wasn't, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what would you share with someone who might be sitting there wondering, well, would this work for them and their firm? Someone who is struggling financially. Maybe they are in a job, they are working 12, 14-hour days. They've got 3 kids like you, and they're like, I just can't keep going. This is not going to get me, like you said, to change my life, to actually put away money for retirement, to go on these vacations. You're taking a week off, a full week next week. You've done plenty of other days off and dinners and, field trips with the kids and other stuff that just probably would have never happened before. What would you say to someone who's sitting there wondering, will this work for them? Like, I'm listening to Jackie and this sounds awesome, but they're in your shoes where you were before. What would you
Yeah.
say for someone who wants to get to that next level?
Yeah, I feel like the typical thing to say would be, you have nothing to lose. And that's really incorrect in this situation. You have a lot to lose because you have that ideal freedom and life and control, and that's what's on the line. And if you're willing to wait for that and to maybe never have that, then sure, you can keep waiting. But for the most part, I truly believe life is too short, and those are the items that you do have to lose if you don't go all in and go for it.
And for someone who might be struggling financially, Jackie, and having your accountant CPA hat on, this is a massive financial investment, massive time commitment. And, some people might just not have the resources available, right? What
Yeah.
would you share with a firm owner who has to stretch and tap into leveraging investments or, 401ks if you're in a job and taking loans and getting credit cards? Because I think a lot of firm owners will see giving a credit card is debt. I hear it all the time. Oh, Michelle, I'm not going to
Yeah.
go into debt. I'm like, really? Okay. But I want to hear it from your CPA hat on what for someone who wants to start a business? Because you work with med spa owners. Everyone
Hmm.
starts at zero, right?
Yeah.
You started at zero. I started at zero. We all have
Yeah.
to start somewhere. So, what would
Hmm.
you share? And maybe you have an accountant or CPA analogy for them about how you have to tap into something in order to grow something. And in order to make money, you have to spend money and you have to invest time. What would
Hmm.
you say to a firm owner that wants to get to that next level, similar to that email introduction you did to the gentleman, right? They want to get to the next level, but what would you share? Because you made a
I,
hefty investment and probably didn't have that kind of money just laying around. What would you share?
I did pull out a credit card. That is absolute for sure. I did not have the cash on hand when we started working together, and nowhere in the future did I see having the cash on hand at that point. That's how, non-revenue generating I was at that point. I
Yeah,
couldn't even see that far ahead to pay
right.
that credit card off. But just like I tell a lot of my clients as well, like you need to invest in the items that are going to bring you a return on that investment. And having, Michelle in your corner is one of the best investments you can make because that will make itself back and a whole lot more on top of that. So, yeah, you do. You got to spend money to make some money, but you got to make smart decisions. And this is one of the best foundations you can have moving forward to reach those big goals. You need to start somewhere.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that. What's your next big goal? Your business is about 25,000 a month now, right? And I'm sure you
Mhm.
just don't want to stay there, but correct me if I'm wrong. So do you want to double it again or what's that next goal and vision that you have for your firm?
Yeah, well, I love this. It's a perfect time where we're really diving into next year's goals. And I have just hired two full-time staff, which I completely never thought was possible. And here we are. We're super excited. Our goal is to double the revenue for next year as a base starting
Okay.
point of our goals. So,
Awesome.
yeah, we're looking to hit that 500,000 mark next year. So,
Oh, wow. That's
yeah,
super awesome. Congrats.
yeah.
I can't
Thank
wait.
you.
And now you have two full-time team members, which like I remember you're like, I don't know when I'm going to be able to hire someone. Well, it'll happen soon. So, with the economy tightening up, Jackie, how excited are you about massively scaling this and getting to 500,000 in revenue? Because I think a lot of people and firm owners specifically are scared. There's a lot of fear in the air. How did you set that aside, and how is that excitement for you growing as you're talking about this next year's trajectory?
Yeah, I think, from the foundations that I do have and the people first mindset that I've really, really
Hmm.
honed in on, and the processes that we have in place now for, enrolling in sales and revenue and talking to new and potential clients, I honestly haven't really thought about it much. I'm very confident in our people first mentality and how we can reach those who really need our help
Yeah.
specifically. And I am now from an abundant mindset. The more that we stop and think and worry and wonder where something's coming from, we're putting ourselves backwards.
Yeah.
We live in our firm in this place of full potential, and we have the processes in place to make that happen. So,
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, I'm going to guess that this new administration that's in place is probably not even going to phase you. But do you feel that the strategies and your growth plan for your firm or anything like that would be impacted, or do you feel like everything's going to be moving in the right direction for you?
I think we're all heading in a great direction. We're all on the right path, and I feel so blessed that I get to be, uh, that person who fights for my clients and
Yeah.
who sits on the bench with them. And that's all you can ask for, right? Is having
Yeah.
that support system. And we've
I love it.
created an environment to be that support system for our clients, regardless of what's happening. So
Awesome.
that's kind of where we stand all the time.
Awesome. I'm just so proud of you, Jackie. It's been amazing to work with you. It's been amazing to watch your journey. I love that you just share all of this too with people in the community. And I'm just super grateful that I get to do this every day. I was actually telling the mastermind yesterday, I'm like, this is just like so cool that we get to do this every day and make this kind of impact because now you're able to help medical spas, right? Because when we miss opportunities like the five or so you missed in the beginning, you're not able to help those business owners. If we can't close, we can't
Mhm.
enroll, we can't sell, whatever word you want to use, we're actually making a negative impact on those business owners where now you get it's like a little domino effect, right? Like I get to help you get to help
Absolutely.
them. Yeah.
And
So,
then actually bringing on new staff members has really opened my eyes to the other impact I get to make as a business owner now, and being able to support those women on my team and knowing that I make a
mhm,
difference in their lives as well as our clients, it's really coming full circle.
totally. Yeah, I love that. What was it working with me or here at the Abundant Accountant that you felt really made the biggest difference for you and your firm right now and even growing and doubling your revenue here in the future? What is it that you'd love to share that's either in your head or on your heart that you think would really help other firm owners understand what working with us made the biggest difference for you?
That's hard to answer because I would start with the feeling of imposter syndrome, especially in the accounting world, can be really suffocating. I think we're taught from a very young time in our career that, you kind of just sit down and be quiet, and that maybe you don't know as much as you're supposed to. And it's always, what are you doing wrong? So it's really difficult. That was one of my hardest transitions into business ownership is taking the lead and now being the expert for my clients. And Michelle really, really helped me work through that. And we were able to work through a lot of emotional roadblocks, which I wasn't expecting. I really didn't understand how those were impacting the impact that I can make in my own business and for my clients. So it was a lot of personal development on top of the amazing skills that she also taught me.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jackie, for sharing.
Yeah.
Well, again, it's been an honor to watch your growth, an honor to have you as a client. You will always be a client. And if you ever want to have another call, I'm here for you. And for those of you listening, if you're an accounting, tax, or bookkeeping firm owner, and you are like Jackie and kind of crumble at the thought of your next upcoming calls, or you keep missing opportunities and you want to help people, or you're sick of coming across pushy or just winging it every time with every sales call, then here at the Abundant Accountant, we show you a very simple step by step process on how to never have to wing it again, how to charge appropriately, how to price your services based on your value, just like Jackie was sharing earlier, and get paid for your worth. So you can double your revenue, you can quit your job, you can create this freedom in this life, just like she did. So if you'd like, you can go and schedule a call with us at theabundantcall.com and grab your first slot. It is a complimentary call. And Jackie, if you want to share how that made a difference, I know you did a little bit, but if there's anything else you want to share, feel free. But again, once again, that's theabundantcall.com. And Jackie, I just want to say thank you for taking out this time out of your day because every single time and moment and minute that you have in your life is so precious. And it's just, I'm honored that you took out the time to share your story in more depth with others.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. Let me know when you double your revenue again.
Will do.
Thank you.